It's just being a female in sport, it was a challenge.
We do not have any clubs that have teams, which also means we don't have a league, which also means we have zero experience in the field.
My name is Budoor Al Abri, and this is Off the Field, a show where I talk to Arab women in sports. On this episode, we're talking hoops. Hey, get it? LeBron James. Hoops and hopes, as Shams Dhuha Al and Abeer Al Ismaili talk about playing for Oman's national basketball team and the need to provide spaces for sports to be taught from a young age. Enjoy the show. Let's take it back to the origin. I always like to go to the beginning, in the beginning of this whole journey, all right? So what initially inspired you to play basketball and then pursue it professionally? We're going to start with you, Abeer.
I don't really think there's like a moment. It's like, okay, I'm going to play basketball. In school, like, I tried all sports. My teacher was like forcing me to get into everything. Okay. But two of my sisters did play basketball, and then like, I wouldn't say professionally, but like, I don't know how it was then. But I don't know, just I liked it and I was like, okay, my heart is good for it. I'm just going to continue doing it. So.
And how young were you when you first started? How old were you?
Oh, probably like 12. But it had like, I broke my hands, I had to stop and stuff, so.
Okay, what about you, Shams Dhuha?
I also started very early at school. I was the captain of the team at our school, and we used to play the inter-schools competitions with other private schools mostly. And actually, there was this one time that we had, it was just like a sports day, and normally basketball is not part of sports day, but that one time I was playing against he wasn't even my PE teacher, he was a male teacher, and we were playing against him. He's American, and I won against him on a 1v1 actually. Nice. And since then he commented at how I'm playing, and I decided, you know what, maybe basketball is my thing.
Right. So when did you girls started and you're like, okay, I'm gonna pursue this professionally?
I think when I realized that I'm really into it, and like the more I get like, because I know I'm not perfect, but the more I get better, the more I learn more skills. I'm like, no, I want to continue. I want to see where can I reach, you know? And I think that's it. Like playing for in uni, playing in high school, it just made me feel like, oh, so there's another step for this. I'm going to go and see where it is. So
that's so cool. What about you?
I never thought I would take it to this level, actually. I don't want to say it was by coincidence, but I had a friendly match against the national team. And since then, the coach of the national team asked me to be part of the national team, and that's how I joined. But originally, I just enjoyed the game. And so wherever I went, I was always looking for a basketball team. I actually went to boarding school before, so that's where I finished my high school in England. And in that school, there was no basketball for ladies. So it was just for the boys, even in England.
So I like that comment. Even England.
Even in England, yeah. Everyone thinks, you know, it's us. But actually, even there, basketball was for the boys. So I participated in other sports like hockey, netball, tennis, just all random sports that I had no experience in previously. But then I went to uni and I found a team, and I decided, you know what, let me go back to basketball. Yani.
Cool.
Yeah.
Right. And growing up, obviously, like there must have been an influence in particular, or role models, or even like players, I don't know, Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, or I'm just throwing names, like I know the LeBron James. Who else has a Nike deal? Let me think about it. I'm just throwing names. So was there any like influence, were you influenced by any of them, or even like in WNBA, not only NBA, I don't know any of them, but in WNBA, maybe you can like enlighten me or something.
You were surprised, no?
Oh.
Yes, I don't know. Like, I don't get when like, see, like, I feel like I don't see role models when it comes to like celebrities or like big players. I always look like my lifestyle, how can I make it like fit? So mine was like when I saw that, oh, some people are student and then being athlete, they can do that, then I can't do the same. So that was for me that what influenced me to actually still study and then do sport. But it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't like a player specifically, you know? But you said the same.
Yeah, same. Yani, I love watching basketball. but I don't even watch it regularly. Like, I'm not up to date with the NBA
Okay.
or WNBA. I love the players and I love to watch them and I love to see their moves and get inspired by their moves, but not as a profession, because it's almost irrelatable.
Okay.
Somehow, the way we play our system,
Fair
our
enough,
things.
yeah.
It's not like I'm gonna go to the WNBA
Okay.
right now.
But why not? So, like, do you aspire at least to go to WNBA?
I would have aspired maybe when I was younger,
Okay.
but it's known as an athlete that you really have to start way younger. To build that athleticism. I'm not saying I'm not athletic. I'm not saying I'm not sporty. I'm not saying I'm not good at basketball, and I'm not getting better. I am, but it's just a different way of building up a player.
I got you. All right. And can you share any memorable moments or achievements that you had so far, be it off the court or like even in court, something that you remember and you're like, that's a core memory for you girls playing basketball?
I think was 2 years ago when I was the captain of my team in uni. I was like, okay, I made it. I made it. I don't care what everyone says. It was so nice because like we had a fight, like not a really fight, but people were like, why and stuff. And then he was like, I think she's really good with communication. She know how, like, I'm a bit aggressive when it comes to court. Like, I like to push. And I was like, it's good when someone sees something. It's like, I like that. And I never noticed that it's really good. And then he kept pushing it. And I was like, okay, you know what? I can't be very ego about this or whatever.
And what uni was that?
West of England in Bristol.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Shamsula?
Funny story. I think
It's always funny.
people that are not into basketball wouldn't understand.
Okay.
But basically, in all our previous tournaments in Oman, it was always a Filipinos team that would win the first place.
Okay.
Almost every time. Because they are just so strong, they're experienced, they play throughout the year, they train throughout the year, and they're just so good. And then there was this one competition in 2021, I would say, and it was a 3-on-3 tournament. And I had not been training so much, but I was training, and I chose 3 other players on my team to participate in this competition. And everyone was telling us, everyone I chose on the team was quite small in terms of size.
Yeah.
And everyone usually underestimates that
Size,
because
yeah.
in basketball, size is really important. I'm not going to deny that. Yani. So this tournament, they put us into groups. And in our first game against the Filipinos team, we had lost. And then into the semifinals, we won. And then we played against them in the finals. And with so much effort, we finally got to beat this team.
That's great.
And since then, it's just been a different perception of how Omani players can play.
Okay.
Since then, we have seen in the last 3-4 tournaments, we had won first place together.
Wow.
Doesn't matter who we were playing against, except the last tournament, actually. I'm not going to deny that, but we just had a bit of a situation. It's just been different for me since then, because I just felt a little different in terms of, okay, you know what, we can do this.
There was a shift.
Exactly.
Okay, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
All right, and now that you girls are training, and obviously I know you're still in uni, but you have uni on the side, and you have your own business, and like you have a life outside of court.
Yeah.
So basically, with training schedules, how do you balance being a professional basketball player, because you are in the national team, and with your life, just different aspects of life?
I think it's once you realize your priorities, that's how you can balance. And it's really hard. I'm not going to lie. It was sometimes like, I'm just doing basketball for now. I don't care about anything else. But once you can put them, I think that's when you start balancing your life. And people just need to get it. For example, for me, my second priority, I don't know, maybe it's first, it's family. But sometimes they can not agree with my decision. But eventually, when they see how much I love that, they kind of can be leaner.
Okay.
Or even talking to them. I'm a very talky person, so I talk to my parents. I'm like, I get it. You want me to be in every single gathering, but come on, like they can see the Friday. Yeah. So like at the beginning, they were so against it, but then when I come back with like, I'm happy, I'm coming with medals, I'm like, good.
Trophies. Yeah.
They're like, okay. We're not really fully happy with that, but okay, good. You do you, you know.
All right. What about you?
It's prioritizing it, but also it kind of becomes your life. Because you have to take care of a lot of things to remain good. يعني in basketball, يعني it's not about attending the training sessions only. It's also keeping up يعني with yourself mentally, physically, and all of that. For just keeping that in mind, everything else kind of flows in. But you'll always find people like that always say يعني you're not around, we never see you, and all of that. And it's because we're training 6 times a week. يعني. Give me a break.
I can only do too much.
Exactly. And our schedule becomes the opposite of other people. Like if you tell me and Abeer, come here at 12, we'll be happy to be here at 12. But don't ask us to be here at 6 p.m. You know what I mean? يعني our schedules are just completely different to everyone else.
Give me an example of your day, for example. Just like today, for example.
Yeah, so I came here. I'm going to go to train.
How early do you wake up?
8.
Okay.
Just
9.
reasonable time.
Yeah.
Depending on what's going to happen throughout my day. Some days I wake up at 7 because I have training at 7. Yeah, it depends. But yeah, then I finish from this. I work on my own stuff.
Yeah.
My project كذا. Then training.
Okay. So it is like a packed
Resting.
schedule.
Yes, exactly.
Alright.
But it's the almost same schedule every day. And it becomes a routine, but there's always something new within that routine. يعني going to train basketball is not like going to a 8 hours shift at work. يعني it's not that much of يعني it's a routine in terms of going to training, but it's a fun session.
Yeah.
And you're going
have
for
so much
2
fun.
hours, 2 hours and a half, but it's really fun.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Cool. And so let's go now to the field. Let's say you have a game, okay, like a competition or a game. So is there any specific ritual do you follow to stay on top of the game? Like just before the game, there's a lot of people. Like for me, when I come in just before I start my interview, I'm like laughing at me, jokes and all that. I'm just getting into the, Budoor interview mode. So what do you girls do?
I have learned this like recently is this winning attitude, and I keep telling myself or whoever around me, just have that attitude that I'm just coming here to win. Like it might sound very like arrogant, but I don't care. I'm a very competitive person, so I don't like losing. So we're coming here to win, and me just taking care of my mental music.
Okay.
Get relaxed. Know that you're not facing anyone. Like.
So you like music just before you go to the courts? All right,
I think that's it. I don't like to like go too much. Like let's all calm down and then
just like relax. Everyone just relax, okay?
I don't like overdo it. Like stop.
What about you?
I just needed a moment of quiet and peace to think about my game, the things that I know I'm capable of doing.
Okay.
Just envisioning everything before going on the court reminds me while I'm on the court what I need to do or what I can do actually to be able to perform. But yeah, it's just as simple as that.
Now I have a question follow up on that. Being in a locker with girls, how do you find a moment of quiet?
I take that moment either
Outside?
after everyone leaves or just before that happens.
All right.
Or just before that moment.
Or maybe you cry.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
And I'm quite good at zoning things out, zoning myself
That's
out
good.
from
Do you do
the
that in
room.
the locker room?
No, not in the locker room, but I can be on the court and I can do that.
So
and I
nice,
can
yeah.
just sit on the bench and just for a moment I think about it and then I go.
That's a very good tip. I want to talk about more about the challenges that you have faced as a female basketball player in Oman. Let's start with you, Abeer. She goes,
I think that's just female. That's one of the biggest challenges. Like it's just being a female in sport. It was a challenge, but I don't know. Maybe because when my biggest hit was when I was away, so I didn't actually see it as much.
Okay.
So like, thank God I didn't. So she was gonna talk about that. When I came back, I was like, okay, now I see what you guys mean. Like, there's a huge difference. But not only that, but one of the challenges was like they don't see it as a professional. So like. Me doing my side like medical thing, they thought that's my priority.
who's they?
My family, people around me, like even when
society.
I say, like they have this expectation and you're not fitting into those. So why are you focusing on basketball when you should be doing this? You have good grades, go do that. But it's not as like it doesn't bring me happiness as much when I'm playing. For me, it doesn't really matter. So I think that's one of the challenges, like proving to them that I can still do that. Both of them, I don't know, just fitting in the society. That was like a very big challenge.
Okay, and what about you, Shams Al-Dhuha?
Maybe I'll talk more about the actual female in basketball,
Yes,
like
yes,
the actual
definitely.
team. There are quite a few things that are very different between the women teams and the men's teams, whether it's الشباب, يعني the youth teams, or the men and women. So, first of all, we do not have any clubs that have teams, female teams.
Okay.
Which also means we don't have a league
Yeah.
for the women's teams, which also means we have zero experience in the field unless we go abroad and play abroad. Yeah. So if you compare us to anywhere else, even in the region, everyone else does have a league and everyone plays regularly, trains regularly, and so on. So the fact that we don't have any clubs also means that the national team has to train throughout the year, which is not the real
Yeah,
word
how it goes,
how it
basically,
should go.
yeah.
It's supposed to be as per season. Yani
Yeah.
we play with the club, and then whenever there is like a international competition, then we go as a national team, and that's what happens with the men.
Okay.
Whereas with the women's teams, because it's only one team, we haven't found the top players in Oman to gather them for the national team.
Because there's only one team.
There's
Yeah.
only one team. So you have everyone that wants to participate in the national team just be at the training session, and you're just training with everyone that enjoys basketball.
Okay.
It's not everyone that wants to take basketball professionally, wants to get
Seriously.
better, wants to be serious about it. It's just a group of girls that train under Oman Basketball Association now. I'm not gonna go back to when it wasn't even under the association.
Yes.
So at the moment, at least it's getting better. Things are getting better in the association with the women's committee. Now we have some kind of yearly tournaments.
Okay.
Not for the national team, but at least there is some activity going on throughout the year.
Okay.
So we have one in Ramadan, every Ramadan now. We have one every October for the Omani Women's Day. Yani we have multiple ones, and then also private sectors are
Yeah.
trying to do more tournaments.
companies
for us.
ones.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And the association always supports it just because we need that for
Support, yeah.
the national team's experience. Yani. Then also as a women's national team, because we are very unprioritized, let's say, so all the national teams have one or two courts to play in, to practice in.
Okay.
I'm talking about all the basketball teams. يعني national team نحن men's there is the disabled basketball.
Yes.
There is the youth في اللي هم الناشئين, they're like under 16
Okay.
or under 14. So all of us have the same courts to train on, and we're literally the last priority.
The
So-
girls one.
The
women's.
girls. So if there's any other, inshallah, there is I'm not gonna hate on aerobics, but if there is an aerobics session
Said,
happening
no offense,
in our court,
offending.
really no
hate us.
offense,
Yeah,
but
literally.
it's supposed to be for the national teams,
basketball,
right?
yeah,
It's
got you.
يعني, at least prioritize our sessions and then bring everyone else.
Bring everyone else, I get
after.
you.
But no, يعني, if the men's team have a friendly game, if they have a competition, if they have a training session,
It's for them.
Then it's for them, and our training session gets cancelled, or we go to the bad court.
Oh.
You know, but
Yeah.
it's always the case, and only recently now we're saying we're training 6 times a week, but this is very, very recent, like maybe 2 months or 1 month.
Yeah.
Before that, يعني, we have scheduled 3 or 4 times a week, and 2 of them will definitely get cancelled because of an overlap with someone else.
So what happens then if you don't train on that day? Do you have to, because you have to keep your body moving, right?
Yeah.
You have to do it solo.
No one understands, and no one does. No one moves.
You know who only does that? Whoever take care of their
Of
body
themselves.
seriously, or who want to
So athletes,
pursue it.
like
Yeah.
proper-
But the thing is, because it's a team play, we can't I can't be in 10 and then someone else on 7 or 3.
You all have
because-
to be at the same level.
Exactly. So
I
when we
get
play as a game, you can tell she hasn't been training. So it makes everyone just go low because they can't catch up faster to us, you know?
Okay. See, I never knew that about
No.
basketball. So you girls train together because when you play,
Yeah.
you have to be in the same strength, same,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
understand each other,
Each
that
other,
same
exactly.
chemistry. Really
Yeah, it makes
amazing.
even easier because I can get if she's been training with us, at least I can know, okay, maybe
know her
she's a bit
weaknesses
slower,
and
you know, maybe she's
yeah.
not really good with fast break or whatever. But if I don't see that, if she's not coming to training, there's not even training for it to happen, I don't know anything. And then you ask me to come and play something that I have to work in a team.
In a team, yeah, it doesn't
It's a
make
bit
sense.
hard, yeah.
It doesn't make sense. But I want to just follow up on something you said there. So you said that normal teams, normally if you have a league, it doesn't mean that you practice all the time. You have to play in order to know, like, if you're better or you're bad.
Exactly.
So you trained the whole year unless there is a game?
Now or before?
No, before.
We didn't train.
Okay.
So for the past year, before the last 3 months, 4 months,
Okay, yeah.
we had stopped completely.
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 Not even training, nothing.
Nothing.
Wow.
I helped train the national team for a tournament that we had, but privately. It had nothing to do with the national team.
Yeah.
I brought them
yeah.
in. Do you remember?
Yeah,
I brought them in just to help them for that tournament that we all had to actually face each other. We were gonna play against each other.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. That
We
was
were
my
gonna-
second question because you
Yeah.
said you have the corporate ones. I was like, who do you play against each other?
So we used to play against each other.
Okay.
We used to, يعني, every 3 of us would go into a different team. But I took all of them in because I know there is no other training session happening anywhere else, and there's no other coach that is available to coach any
Yeah.
other girls. يعني. I used to get everyone, and knowing very well that they'll be training with the people that they'll be playing against.
Yeah.
But at least they were practicing.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
it was
understand.
maybe for like a month or 2.
Yeah.
And because we
I
had
think it was like August. Yeah, I think that's someone here.
Okay, and that's basically how you train. And okay, let's talk about the good days now.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about how it's nice and bright. So what changed?
yeah. So basically, there was a new coach that came to Oman like 3 months ago, which was promised to us a longer time ago,
Okay.
way longer, and that's why this long stop happened, because we had been promised a coach to
Since-
come. Yes, exactly. Since we stopped the previous time, so there was supposed to be a very short
How
gap
many
between
times
the
did you stop?
every year,
Damn.
every 2
Alright.
years.
Okay, sorry. I don't want to open
we
wounds,
stopped.
I'm sorry.
We stopped more than we played.
We play, okay.
Previously,
Sorry,
but now
okay.
we're actually quite consistent. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
It's been very good with a new coach. She pushes as much as possible
That's
to
great.
train.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter which court we're training in. Doesn't matter what time it is. Doesn't matter who's supposed to be in that court instead of us. She's gonna make sure that it's our time, and we are prioritized
That's
for
great.
that session.
You have
Yeah.
someone who like fights for you, girls.
And
That's really
finally, we have someone that is
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
pushing.
Yeah.
She's doing a lot. She's even pushing for us to participate in tournaments, for the tournaments to actually happen, even if they're private tournaments.
Yeah.
But, she would force مثلا 4 teams to come out of the national team just so that the tournament happens, because honestly speaking, there aren't many basketball players in Oman. And
Yeah,
like I said,
yeah.
most of them are in the national team or used to be in the national team. So it's a very small community. And in every tournament, all of us just play against each other. So unless the national team participates in those tournaments, then the tournaments don't have sufficient teams to be a tournament, kind of.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? Or the level wouldn't be as high as it would be. But yeah, alhamdulillah, yani, lately it's really has
So it's
improved.
getting better,
Yeah.
yani. And do you and is there any initiatives or programs aimed to encouraging girls more to participate? Like whoever, like let's say for example, to participate. So I'm not an athlete, but I think I want to become a basketball player. Is there something like a program I can go to so they can like train me, and then maybe they're like, okay, you can come to the national team? Is there something just the pre, or is it just coming to see you girls and then I join?
Yeah, there isn't anything by the association or by the clubs.
Okay.
But for instance, I currently coach a females team.
Okay.
And that used to be open to whoever wanted to join, but now that we have a good base يعني, for the team, we're not really open to anyone that's a beginner, but whoever had participated or used to play, or non-Omani, for example, that cannot join the national team, then I do take them in and I train them on a weekly basis. We had not stopped for about 2 years now, actually, since this team started. There isn't anything official, but we try separately to encourage more girls to get into the game.
And if the girls want to join, obviously the Omani girls want to join the national team, how was that process?
I wish it was like more organized, honestly, because like in the UK, this is just uni. there's like tryouts.
Yes, that's what I was like. Is there like
You would wish.
Okay.
Like, honestly.
Abeer has a lot.
Like, I think this is the right way. Like, I think there's like before every season, there's like period of time. This is a tryout. Whoever wants to like or likes it, come, do, and then the best go. But this is the thing. Like, I'm not trying to say whoever is not good should just be dismissed.
Yeah.
I think those two also need to be taken care of, but not in our sessions. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to disregard them or anything, but it just makes it more competitive, makes it more interesting that, oh, I didn't make it this year. Maybe about, how about next year, you know?
Year, I get you.
I think that's the right way, but I don't know.
I'm just going to add something here. About a year and a half ago, or about 2 years ago, just before we started with the national team, the last year.
Okay.
She used to say which one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there was like a tryout.
Okay.
And it was publicly announced to anyone in Oman if they wanted to join.
Experience or not?
Literally,
Just if you're interested.
no requirements.
Oh, okay.
Just if you're interested. So they gathered everyone in a day, and there were so many people. I didn't attend. I attended one of them. I'm gonna be honest. I attended to see what's happening. I'm already a player, and I wasn't gonna go and show how I am as a player.
Yeah.
When I know that there are so many kids coming, and I say kids because they're all school kids that were gonna come, yani. But I attempted to see and just, help out if there is any help that I can offer. And I got in there, and there was no coach. They had just gathered the girls. So I helped out as a coach for half the session, and then the actual coach showed up.
Yeah.
So since then I realized, and actually in that session we had some of the national teams attend as well, which were supposed to be my teammates, but in that instance I was their coach for the session. So had to split them apart because obviously some people don't even have the basics of basketball, and others are already very good.
So because it was public, so it was mixed.
Exactly, it was mixed,
gotcha.
and it was a small court, yani. And then since then they created 2 teams. في شيء اسمه مركز إعداد ناشئين.
Okay.
And it's basically an initiative by the ministry to build up athletes before they get into the national team.
Gotcha.
And it's available around the Sultanate يعني in different مناطق with different clubs. So under each club almost there's this center يعني for training. So for the females they decided, you know what, we're gonna just make one in Muscat.
Just in Muscat.
Just one in Muscat.
Yeah.
And they gathered everyone that's obviously living in Muscat and nowhere else, because no one's gonna drive 2 hours to come to training, right?
Obviously.
So we gathered.
All of you, you all know each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And these training sessions started.
Okay.
And at first we were divided. So there was the under 18 or whoever the beginners were, and then there was us who were more experienced and have been playing for a while, which we were both in.
Yeah.
And then the training got stopped, let's say, paused a while back. And since then, we have all been training together. Whether you had been a beginner, you had been experienced, you're under 18, you're whatever it is. We are currently all training together because there is one coach, one assistant coach, and the availability of the courts kind of restricts you to it.
Yeah,
because even if the coach wanted to do more than one session, there is not enough courts for us to do multiple sessions a day. Right? And everyone needs to train that frequently. Everyone needs to train as much as we can. And obviously with the commitments of schools, unis, work, not everyone's able to attend 6 times a week. So if they limit these people to those days and others to those days, then you will find that some people only attend once a week, which is not enough as an athlete or as a basketball player.
Gotcha.
So we are almost forced to train all together. يعني it's not something that we can do.
Ideal, yeah.
أيوة, it's not ideal, but at least we're all trained.
Yeah, it's something. يعني it's a compliment.
أيوة.
I pray for better. يعني
yes, of course.
I'm hoping for better. All right, we're gonna talk about better things. A bit enlightening, but it is in terms of I'm gonna talk about more about like coaching and the academy actually that you started, Shams Dhuha. So tell me more about the academy and what's the inspiration behind it. I have a feeling it's the story that you just told us is the inspiration behind it. And also, what do you aspire for it to be? And is it just now, is it one branch and do you want to expand it? Tell me more about it.
Sure. So the academy started almost 5 years ago.
Okay.
Which was soon after I joined the national team.
The name of the academy?
Shooting Stars Academy.
Okay.
And it started not through me, through my two partners.
Okay.
They had previously spoken about it, previously planned a lot of things. And then through their time with me in the national team and just, you know, having each other, they decided to approach me. There was a coaching course coming up organized by the association through the Federation, International Federation of Basketball in Oman. So, you know, we went to this course together.
Yeah.
They pushed me to do the course, not knowing that I had this academy plan coming up.
Okay.
And throughout this course, they come up to me. They're like, Shams, there's this plan to do this academy, you know. And they're like, would you like to be a coach with us, or would you like to be a partner with us in the academy?
Nice.
And they're much older than me, so they're a lot more experienced in the field in basketball, and they know how things go and all of that. So it's very random. I call my dad. I'm like, Dad, there's this opportunity. What do I do? And he's like, you know what? Go for it. And at that time,
so
I wasn't
nice.
working.
Yeah.
And so I decided, you know, to partner with them for the
'Cause why not?
academy.
Yes.
And I got so into it. I was attending every session. We started with such a small group. We were coaching by ourselves, all three of us.
Okay.
And we took one extra coach that was with us in that course. He's also a player, Saeed Saadi. And he joined us right from the beginning. And then we had another coach, Coach Ahmed Abu Hamar. He had joined us as well right from the beginning. So we were such a small team, and we were training in Sultan School. And the number of players, like maybe I was training 5 kids. Only,
Really?
and then
Really?
another
Okay.
coach was coaching another 5 kids. يعني we were barely reaching 20 players in total. It was يعني, and we at that time we thought this was amazing. You know, even
That's
20
great.
players was
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
And then COVID hit. So COVID hit,
Oh, the
and
C word.
we're like, oh God, we just started, you know.
Yeah.
And everything had stopped. حتى sports indoors. And then we're like, you know what? We're not going to let this stop us. We're just going to go outdoors. And we started looking for outdoors courts. And the one available was the one in Oman Club, in Al Khawair. No facilities, as most of the clubs in Oman.
Yeah.
Like, not even changing rooms. The courts are so old and the floors are bad. And it's not the best place.
It's not suitable, basically.
It's not the most, it's not the safest. let's say.
Hazard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But at the time, we didn't think about all of these
Yes.
things, to be honest with you. We're like, okay, all we need is a court to start
Yeah.
and operate. And something at a good cost, because we don't know how things are with COVID
Yes.
and all of that. And subhanAllah, since then, the number of kids we've had at the academy
That's
had
amazing.
boosted so much, يعني mashallah, since then. And then from there, صار الصيف, and
Yeah.
we decided, you know what, let's look for another court.
Okay.
And throughout that period of looking for another court, wanting to go indoor for the summer and كذا, we started thinking between ourselves about how unpopular basketball is in Oman and what the reason is for that, and why is it that basketball is like not on anyone's mind
Yes.
to play. And the biggest reason we found is the unavailability of courts. يعني even if you thought you could play basketball, there are no hoops around.
Yeah, I get you.
There is nothing in the neighborhood for me to play. يعني even if you had a ball, unless you have someone in the family that used to play and then you have a hoop at home,
Yeah.
then there's no way for you to play. يعني.
Yeah.
And at school, it's a different system.
Yes.
It's يعني purely educational, seasonal. Every couple of months we play a different
And then
sport and so on.
yeah.
So we actually approached the municipality. Hey, we have this idea
Okay.
that you guys should start implementing sports courts in the neighborhoods.
Around town, yeah.
And they're like, you know what? We've been looking for someone as a tender to do a project like that. So can you propose something? And we proposed, and it took the longest time for this whole process.
We here.
So by that time, throughout that time, we went into another sports court opened
Okay.
within that time, and it was indoors, and it's in Al Qurum. So we started training there for a while. هناك again,
kids?
more kids, yes.
Okay.
And there were even more kids over there. People were walking to training sessions. Because it's in a neighborhood.
Yeah,
That sports
yeah.
court is in a neighborhood. So people were walking towards the session and then just walk back. So there were a lot of people that came because no one had to drop them.
Yeah.
You didn't have to have any means of transport
Yes.
to be able to make it to the training session. And we're like, okay, you know what? It's such a good idea to be very close to the people.
Yeah.
Oh, subhanallah, after that, our place was almost open, but it was still the summer. Sorry. And sports center called Strike opened in Oman Automobile Association.
Yes.
And then we approached them because very professional courts, very safe place, fully facilitated. There is plenty of room for parents to sit at, and plenty of room for other people to do other things as well. So we moved there, which was very far away from our first community, which was in Qurum.
Oh, yeah.
So we had to restart and build
A whole community.
the whole
Yeah.
other community again from almost zero. So every time we move, it's like a new beginning.
Long story, yeah.
But subhanallah, again, we managed to build up, and we have had many players join us on that side. And that's when we realized that it always depends on the location.
Yes.
So wherever you go, people will come to you if you're close to them.
If you're close to them,
People are not
exactly.
gonna move to, travel a long distance
commute
just for that. Exactly.
I
Especially
get you.
that they come back from school and then they come to training and then they go back home again, and by the time they're back home, they're already
They have stuff to finish,
stuff to-
dinner, and then sleep, maybe
Exactly.
homework, yeah.
That's when we decided in our project, which is called Local Spark,
Yes.
which opened in Shat Al Qurum, to actually go from one branch to two branches.
Nice.
So now we operate in two branches, in Strike and in Local Spark.
Okay, so I'm gonna come back to local sport. So basically, I was minding my business one day, just minding my business, chilling at home. So I'm into the gym more than it's a sport, I guess. I'm into heavy weightlifting, and now I'm trying to be very feminine. I'm into Pilates. I try, okay, and all that. So I was just minding my business, chilling in bed, and my friend texted me. She sent me local spark, and I didn't know anything about Shams al-Dhuha at that time. Never met her before. So she's like, do you want to go here? I was like, a park? I don't like nature. So I was like, what? And then she goes, it's a park, but also you can play, but also we can chill, but also there's food. I was like, okay, that's a very cool concept. So tell me more about local sport, because I was willing to leave and go for nature. If you know me, I don't like nature like that. It's only walks and then that's about it. But it's a very interesting, cool concept. Tell us more.
Thank you. It's quite exciting. I really get excited every time I talk about it. I like what I'm talking about.
But you can tell she's so passionate.
Proud,
and you've been through a lot, so you be proud. Talk about it. Yes.
All right. So I'm a mechanical engineer, and I was working at an engineering consultancy. And we started this project while I was still employed. And then at some point it just got super busy, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stop this corporate life and I'm gonna focus on my own thing. So I started pushing to get Local Spark done and reach to where it is now. But generally, in terms of a concept, it came through Shooting Stars. So we're the same company that opened Shooting Stars. It's a different branch, basically a different brand within the same company. But the idea is, so نحن in the basketball academy, when the kids come, we look for their safety.
Yeah.
We look for the facilities. We look for place for the parents to stay at and not waste their time. We look for parents to come and do other things. It can be any other sport as well. We look for the health of the kids, and we really believe that being outdoors plays a big role in that. Whether it's mental, physical, or any of it. That's where it comes from. And the park that we found was a park previously.
An old park.
Okay. And there was a court there, but it wasn't a basketball court. It wasn't a football court.
It was a court.
It was just a court, and the flooring was just like...
It's like, use your imagination. Whatever you want it to be today, it is.
It was just black asphalt on the floor. The fence was ripped from all sides. There was no electricity in the park, no lighting, no facilities, no parking, nothing. Barely any benches, And there used to be some guys that actually used to play there.
Poor them.
They connected electricity from one of the houses.
But you see the need. You see the need.
Exactly. And they put up just like 2 floodlights to play at night, football.
Okay.
وكذا حتى the goal posts were so tiny clearly made in Ma'bela or something. You know what I mean? It was just so messy and so unsafe. So that's where we decided to, make this big shift, and we closed the park, and we had a lot of difficulty actually, speaking to the neighbors, trying to explain to them that it's good for them, that we're doing this for them. And
so the park was being used, it's just the court that was a bit...
We've changed the whole thing.
Okay.
It's not just the park. We invested in the whole public space by ourselves.
So that's why you had to speak to neighbors.
We had to speak to them because في النهاية they used to use it as a walk path.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
They used to sit in it. They used to, as dirty as it was and as abandoned as it was, I would say, it was still used somehow. And they all felt like it was a space for them.
For them, I get you.
And it's as if we're taking that away from them. And it was so difficult to explain to them that we're not taking it away from you.
We're making it and giving you a better one.
A better one, exactly. Yes. And only now that we opened and people see the place that they're so happy about it. We're getting amazing feedback, very positive. Kids are enjoying it. Adults are enjoying it. They love the fact that there's a coffee shop there. The coffee shop as well is a Omani concept.
Yes.
I also opened that separate in a separate company, but it's also very relevant to the sporty, healthy community.
Okay, got you. So it's all interlinked,
yes, and we also opened 2 paddle courts with another partner. They're just a different company just for the paddle. But just
within the park.
Okay. But just knowing that paddle has been very, active lately.
Up in the rising. I play paddle.
Very popular.
Just wanted to tell you that.
Exactly.
I just wanted to flex. I'm sporty too. I love, I enjoy paddle. So that's even nice. So it's not just football.
It's not just football, not just basketball. It's multi-sports, fully facilitated. We added more parking spaces in the area. We added the coffee shop, which is a very, I'm not gonna, هذا بس literally some of the grandmas في الحارة يجلسوا in the coffee shop and
so cool.
That
is so cool
that's
to
the vibe.
see.
Exactly. It's the vibe we're looking for. I'm not looking for something that is so fancy, and it's supposed to be
Sahara. It's literally
It's a park.
It's a park.
It's supposed to be comfortable for those around you. حتى on Fridays we see little girls in jalabiyat, and they're coming to the park eating French toast, and it's just so nice to see. And we used to see them walking around في الحارة before and just not knowing what to do. And now at least they have a space to sit in, to go in. And I don't think the parents worry anymore about the kids walking around. Exactly. That's the concept.
And the name. I like the name.
Yeah, so we have a few comments about the name of the park actually. Some people, خاصة expats, they think that it's not for them and it's only for Omanis. But from our point of view,
it was for the community.
It's for the community. And our idea is to actually go much bigger than this, have a local spark in every community.
Yeah. I was going to ask, when is it coming out?
Yeah.
We want one.
Actually, amazing. Since we opened, officially did the opening of the park a few weeks ago, and it was opened by... His Excellency وكيل الرياضة, باسل الرواس. And since then, and His Excellency Chairman of the municipality, Muscat municipality, and since then we have seen so many tenders
to open another one. That's so cool,
which is amazing because it just means that it worked,
and it means that the society needs that. And you guys introduced a new concept that like it's really needed, and not just because, for example, where I live, okay, where I live, like for me just to play paddle, my closest would be Ma'bela, for example, or like to go anywhere, it's a distance. So if we have a local park everywhere, that will make life a bit easier. It would mean like, I'll just take my niece and we just walk to our park and play come close.
The only thing I would hope for and I would ask for is more support from, I wouldn't say the sector that we're in, but from the local community within that community, because we're creating a public space. We have some non-public spaces, which is the sports court, which is for rent. But I would love for that rent to be so minimum for everyone to be able to use it. But I have to cover up the investment that I did to build the entire public space. And if that was supported through other means, through other sponsors, other partners, that would mean that I can really create a difference in terms of sports and people actually using the sports facility. And that's what I would say.
I like that stuff there.
I mean, you build a sports court hoping that you have so many kids wanting to come and play, but as soon as you tell them you have to pay 2 riyals, they're like, oh, I don't have 2 riyals.
To pay all the time. Is it like a membership or is it like...
We can do memberships, we can do per hour, walk-ins, whatever it is. But if you're planning to spread the game and spread social sports within the community, then you need to make it very accessible to them. So previously, before Locals Park, there had been no public courts for anyone to use except for the clubs, which are not public. And to rent, you have to pay even more than what you would have to pay at Locust Park at the moment. But still, if you really want that to be embedded within our culture, it has to be much cheaper. It has to be almost affordable. Free.
Almost, it should be free.
Should be free.
Yeah.
But it would only be free if it was not a private investment.
I get you.
Right?
Yeah. All right. So we came full circle. We spoke about basketball. Then we spoke about what should be better, but it's getting better. And then also with the academy, I just wanted to be specific. What's the age for the academy?
It's 3 to 16 years old, which is the gap between going into national teams and nothing. Basically. Right. So you either wait and reach that age and then go into clubs, national clubs like whatever, or I don't know, train yourself.
You train yourself and you don't go.
But there were almost no academies before we opened. There was one coach, he was American, that used to coach, and then he stopped in COVID. But we continued, and since then we've actually seen quite a few academies open up, which is also amazing.
Which is very inspiring.
We are looking for more players. 100%. It's not like we want all players, but we need to see more players.
At least there's players, whether be it your academy or not.
I'll just put this in.
Of course.
But we've actually had 6 players from our academy go into the national team.
Period. She said we trained. She said we trained, we delivered.
They did. 3 boys and 3 girls,
Mashallah.
Which is amazing. And I'm not going to brag about this for very long. But
Name and shame. Name and shame. Drop names.
Actually, 3 of them participated in a 3-on-3 tournament, the one we played at. And they won 3rd place. And there were a lot of very amazing players playing. And we came 2nd place and they came 3rd place.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
That's very impressive.
They beat our second series.
They were saying their names. Exactly. I didn't want to say that. Just the fact that they reached this level and they had just joined the national team, which means they came out of
their foundation was really good.
Exactly.
Yes, definitely.
which is amazing, and I'm very proud of it.
All right, and just so we can end the interview on a good note, what kind of advice would you give young, inspiring girls aspiring actually to become professional basketball players in Oman or internationally? Let's start in Oman first.
Wait, explain your question more.
So if there's a little girl and she's like, Abeer, you're my role model. girl, I want to be you. For example. So she's like, give me an advice. Like, I want to be into basketball. Like, if there's one piece of advice you would leave on the show today to this girl, what would it be?
Watch our games. I think.
Watch your games?
Yeah,
Okay.
like I think, because like, want to be basketball, enjoying the sport is different. Like basketball player, sorry. Because like this is my problem with people is like I love it because like I love it differently when people want to just have fun. So
I got
no,
you.
do you want to just have fun? Do you just want to go on like social basketball, or do you want to like take it into games? You know, once you know that, I feel like it's easier for me to be like, okay, this is what you're gonna do.
Right.
If you want it for fun, go everywhere you can play. There's like a point.
Okay.
But if you want to like take it more seriously, then I'm gonna be like, oh, then take care of yourself, take care of your health, train a lot, like try to see other players, have people in your school, for example, your community, search for that age and then like convince everyone to be the same mentality as you and then just start playing. It just depends, what do you actually want from it? Do you want for fun or
Do you want
seriously?
professionally? Cool. What about you, Shams Al-Dhuha?
I would say work on yourself, play for the love of the game and not for anyone else. يعني, this is how we reached here, myself and Abeer. It's because we worked on ourselves, because we loved the game.
Yeah.
We were never waiting for someone to ask us to play, for someone to ask us to train, for the availability of the court. All those issues that we speak about, they never stopped us from playing. And I believe that يعني, as long as, alhamdulillah, things are getting better, but no matter what happens, just keep playing for the love of the game and for yourself.
Great. Thank you so much, girls, for being here today. I had the incredible basketball players, Shams Al-Dhuha Al-Khanji and Abeer Al-Ismaili. Thank you again. Thank you for taking time.
Thank you so
you for
much,
having
Budoor.
us.
This was lovely.
Yay!
I have to run to training.
Hoops. Hoops and hopes.